All right, Jack Agner and myself, Tommy Coughlin, in the building for another pod. Remote pod, not in studio today. Had to change our agenda a little bit when we were recording this one to make sure we got out an episode for you all with our busy schedules. Pat Ballman, editor and All-Star Game pitcher, joins us this week to talk about the All-Star Game. Wasn't Pat's best outing, but a great event nonetheless. A lot of fun to watch. A lot of home runs for those of you who like a high-scoring ball game. And Pat also, I won't spoil it in this intro, but Pat was also involved in a cool little thing on the side, wiffle ball related, that many of you probably were not aware of. So stay tuned for Pat's interview. Jack and I make our Slate 4 predictions, and we round it off with a fun story as well. So without further ado, this is the Pipe It Up podcast, and cue the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pipe It Up podcast, the official podcast of MLW Wiffle Ball. We have an all-star game to talk about today, one played in front of a live crowd, and you guessed it, our guest is not Jimmy Norp, it's Patrick Ballman from the losing squad. Norp is not the guest. You know, we had to throw a curveball today, hit you guys with a little gypsy drop, and bring in someone you might not have been expecting to hear from, but someone who's at the series nonetheless and played in it, but unfortunately just didn't have his best day. He's the editor-in-chief here of the Pipe It Up podcast, Patrick Ballman. Pat, the mustache is just looking spectacular, my friend.
This is probably taken about a month to grow out, and I think you guys got to see it through at this point, because if I shave it, then it's going to take forever to grow back, so we'll see. You might see it in Chicago. Who knows?
I love that.
Dude, we were like 2 weeks away from having a full Pipe It Up staff mustache gang.
We were. Was there any?
Very close.
I should have known. I didn't know this was happening, or else I would have planned a little better. But
neither did I.
I wish mine looked as good as your guys's, but I feel like mine's the thinnest. Then you got Pat in the middle, and then Jack brings it home with a thick one. Jack, is the wife still okay with it?
Yeah, she's still on board. I think it might reach its end here this weekend, but we'll see. You know, all good things come to an end. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't made up my mind yet.
What's the strategy there? Do you like let the sides grow out and then trim the mustache to be equal length with the sides, or do you go hard shave reset? What are you planning on doing?
That's what I've been kind of trying to do, is wait for the sides to grow out a bit and then try to match up the mustache. Probably have to take everything down a little bit to make it all even. But that's what I was thinking. Hopefully, you know, I can maybe get through maybe this week. We'll see if it starts looking too bad, and then that, you know, could be a good reset from there this weekend. But I don't know. We'll see if I make it there.
We'll see. Stay tuned on the mustache. But Pat, thank you again for calling in on late notice. Save the day here, representing the All-Star Game at Michigan. Didn't go your way. Team Ryan, 13. Team Daniel, 6. And Pat was on the losing squad. Victim to a couple home runs. I think we just got to cut to the chase here, Pat. A couple of balls went a long way against you. How you feeling now, seeing the videos? Are your DMs flooded with hate yet, or is everyone taking it easy on you?
Honestly, I have not even looked at the comments. Probably not going to.
Smart man.
I feel like after the Cobra series, it's been a little bit rough with the long ball, but yeah, a little bit of a downer that Jimmy's not on. It's me talking, but the experience was awesome. Fans were great. I know there's a lot of them on the video. Didn't look like there was a ton there, just because they were all up in the shaded areas. But there was a lively crowd. Could be more thankful. Just a really fun time with the fellas. Getting to hang out with guys I don't get to see all the time. Got to hang out with Cheatham quite a bit, which was fun. Never really talked to him before. So, yeah, overall, it was a really fun time, though.
What was going on with the knee? Do Wildcats fans have a reason to be concerned, or was that a temporary issue?
So not temporary. So I have a complete tear in the ACL and a couple menisci are torn, and I had like bone contusions at the time too. It was a pretty bad. And that was like right after. It was like a week after I tore it, so it was still like pretty bad. So I'll probably put in the replay of my first hit because I wasn't like, I'm never gonna say no to hitting. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll crawl to first if I have to. I'm never gonna say no. And when I hit it, I did like a walk over to first base. And that was honestly the scariest moment. I thought I was just gonna pop out again or something. But yeah, not ideal for sure.
Yeah, you were definitely nursing it on the way to first there. It also just looked like you couldn't really like get power off that back foot at all, like pitching. So I feel like that definitely played a factor.
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely not ideal. And that was mostly also because it was like fresh off the injury. So I still like couldn't really walk very well. But I will say like now I'm like wearing a brace, I can move enough. But yeah, I'm going to get surgery here soon on it and hopefully be back 100%. But I don't think you'll see me hitting anymore this MLW season, which sucks because I felt like I was starting to get it down a little bit.
How did you injure it?
Basketball injury. Yeah.
Classic, dude.
Yeah.
Classic. I think the percentage of times I've played pickup basketball and been injured is like probably 25%. Like maybe a quarter of the time I would leave the court with like a sprained ankle. Like you could pretty much bet on it. It was a surefire bet.
Yeah. And I feel like also, I don't know if it's true for everyone, but once I graduated college, my athleticism just went straight down. And like anytime I did anything somewhat athletic, I would be so sore. So like I just felt so out of shape. And literally within 3 minutes of this pickup basketball game, bam, snapped. It was brutal.
That's tough.
That's
That's
bummer.
tough.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, man.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. So you're playing through an injury, which commendable. I don't know if I would risk any further injury if it was me, but to each their own, and I respect it. But you go out there and don't have your best day. A lot of home runs on both sides of the ball. Very, very home run friendly game. I think there was 8 home runs, which is shocking because a lot of them look like bombs. But I mean, do you think that, like, you think you're healthy enough to play, but do you think it's playing a factor a little bit in the amount of movement you're able to get and the location of your pitches? Because you got to think that it's tough to pitch on a bum knee.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think that it's, especially on that day, because it was pretty fresh off the injury, that it was a little bit of a factor. And I was just kind of trying some stuff out. But it was funny because that home run Ryan hit, which with a yellow bat and a regular wiffle ball, that was one of the farthest home runs I've ever seen. But on that pitch, I threw like a finger ball, which I've never thrown in my entire life. And I was like, right when I let it go, I was like, oh man, that looks pretty good. That's some good movement on it. And then boom, Ryan like almost hit it out of the stadium. But yeah, definitely not my best stuff. But honestly, like even with the injury, I just play because I love wiffle ball. Win, lose, or draw, it's a blast. But yeah, definitely disappointing. I mean, obviously I'm a competitor and I want to win, want to do well. So definitely hoping that the knee gets a little bit better.
All right, honesty hour. What did you think of the new format? Obviously, with no divisions, the drafting of the teams, and second part of the question: what are we giving Dan for a draft grade here? Because
we go.
I think Ryan gave him enough slander. Ryan gave him enough slander on the pod last week in the video. There's comments. What are we going to give Dan as a realistic grade here, Pat?
I mean, obviously everyone who makes the All-Star game is a good player, so I don't want to dog on anyone, but when you have Jimmy, Jordan, and Ryan all on the same team, my little brothers all came up to me after. I haven't actually like watched the video because I know what happens. And they all came up to me and they were like, how did all 3 of them get on the same team? And so from that aspect, I got to say probably like a C minus, maybe a D.
I mean, this is a tough one for Dan, right? Because he makes a bold decision and let's call a spade a spade. He was a bit of a homer, right? Takes his buddy Dallas, takes Landon. already was at a disadvantage picking second, he picked second, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he picked second.
Picked second. So at a disadvantage, doesn't have Ryan on his team by default, and then goes with Dallas instead of Robles. I think Daniel's going to have to face the press. He needs to maybe come on the podcast, face the media, get a microphone in front of him and explain himself, because it's a tough after the result being negative when on paper his team was less talented. Looks like a genius if it does go his way, but the fact that it didn't is definitely a tough one in hindsight. Now, would I have thought that Jimmy Norp was going to hit 3 home runs, excuse me? No. Maybe Ryan was right in drafting him first overall instead of Robles, but at the same time, I think Dan put himself in a tough spot and sort of gave himself the underdog role, and I think you felt that just with the amount of firepower on Team Ryan, which is unfortunate. I liked the heart though out of Team Daniel. You guys battled back. You put up 6 runs at the end of the day after being down 10-1. I want to say early on in that ball game. I just like to see the fight for sure, but at the end of the day, I think next year, Jack, if the format stays the same, I think the managers are going to be a little bit more careful to draft truly the best talent on paper rather than maybe who they want to play with. Let's put it that way.
I mean, it didn't help. It didn't really help. I should say, I guess it really made Ryan look even that much more of a genius taking Jimmy first overall with the performance that he had. Because that could have also really kind of turned around to bite Ryan.
For sure.
You never, obviously Jimmy is Jimmy and you expect him to at least be productive, but he definitely was not the, unanimous number 1 pick there. So that turned out, in Ryan's favor for sure. And I would say just by and large, like the video as a whole, an All-Star game as a whole, just watching as a viewer, yeah, it wasn't necessarily the most competitive game like on the scoreboard, but honestly, like what are we looking for in an All-Star game? To me, we're looking for some filthy pitches. We're looking for some awesome home runs. Like Pat said, got probably, one of the farthest hit home runs we've ever got on camera from that game. And then you're looking for some great defensive plays, which we also had a lot of really good defensive plays, like ground outs to first in that game. So I don't know. I thought it was a really exciting video. Like I like the format. I like seeing guys play on teams that they, like just the fact that Cratch was on a team with Jordan and Jimmy, having always being on the Predators and not being in the same division as those guys. Like it was cool to see them play on the same team, and it kind of makes the possibilities endless sort of when you do that draft in terms of like what an actual true like ultimate team could be, like an MLW ultimate team. So I was a fan of the format, and I thought the game, although not on the scoreboard was that competitive, gave you everything that you want to see as a fan watching an All-Star game.
I think it also speaks to, and Pat, you can weigh on this because you've been watching MLW for a long time, and you were drafted in last year's class. So I think, Jack, the talent of the hitters has gotten better over the last couple of seasons. Like the pitching has been good. It became a very, before back at like Colts Field, the glory days, or even early Meadows days, I think it was more of an offensive league at first because there wasn't as many like ace pitchers who could really dice through a lineup. You had a lot of ugly games with number 2 arms throwing at times in terms of a lot of runs being scored. Now I feel like then for several years, like early Meadows era, and even the last few seasons, I feel like the pitching then got better than a lot of the hitters were. And now I think we're seeing a little bit of a shift to where batting averages are going up and home run totals are going up across the league because there's a lot of these good young players. Brady Pearson, great example, comes in this year and is raking. Hits a bomb in the All-Star game. Fleer, Frensnick, another couple good young hitters. Sullivan shown promise in the box. P. Colm, Trey Flood. A lot of these guys are just starting to play a lot of wiffle ball at a high level compared to like our generation of players, Jack, that didn't play as much outside of actual MLW games. And I think it's starting to show with just these all-star teams are offensively loaded. I mean, and I think we might start seeing. We've seen in the past at times All-Star games can have a lot of runs scored, but I think we might start to see that as a bit of a trend here moving forward, just because the hitters are getting very good, especially these young guys. And as they get older, I think these All-Star teams are going to be just offensively loaded. And even if you're a great pitcher like a Jordan Robles or a Pat Ballman or a Dallas Allen, a lot of these guys have faced you already. And there's always that one guy that's tough to get out in each team who's, a step above offensively. When you put all those guys together on one squad, there's just no easy outs to be found,
Yeah, I mean, that was brutal having to face Jimmy, Jordan, Ryan, who already always has my number, and then Trey. It was a pretty much a gauntlet out there.
Yeah, there's no holes in that lineup whatsoever. Also, shout out to Chris Cheatham. Getting a start in the All-Star game. I mean, we got to give the kid a shout out.
Shout out to Chris Cheatham.
One for the old crafty vets. I can't remember what was the comment or the geezers. The one guy that had the comment of us being geezers. That was one for the geezers. So shout out to Chris. I don't think he recorded a hit, but he did record a start in the All-Star game, which that was for the brand. That was for the Geezer Nation. I think that's what it was, Geezer Nation. So just had to give Chris a shout out there.
Shout out to Chris. Made us all proud. Gave it us all out there. Just seeing him come out of the dugout, hear his name called, made me happy.
Fantastic.
Also, when I heard Kyle say it's the 16th annual All-Star game, that immediately put me into geezer mode. I was like, holy moly, 16 All-Star games. I haven't been in the last two, but just crazy how many years this league has actually existed. More than half of most of our lives. The entirety of RJ Walgate's life, the entirety of, Brady Pearson's life. Just MLW's been around. It's pretty crazy how long it's existed for. Sure, it didn't have the fan base that it had for the first, 7-8 years or so, but just pretty wild to think that there has been a champion crowned. Whether it was, how many teams in the league, how many players, whatever, but there has been a champion in this league 15 times. It's pretty nuts.
It is nuts. It is nuts. It's honestly not like surprising, but I guess it was just really cool to have that be the first All-Star game. Obviously, a Spartan fan. I think that's obvious for the listeners.
They know that.
If you're watching, you obviously know Tommy's a Spartan fan.
That's right.
But I do have to say, like, for Kyle to have MLW host it at Michigan, obviously the school he went to, who he roots for, was really cool. That venue just looked really awesome. I know Pat mentioned that the fans kind of were hiding from the sun. I certainly don't blame them. So it was probably a little bit misleading as to how many people were actually there. But just to have that All-Star Game event and the Home Run Derby be there on the same day and engaging, like, I thought that was also just it was a perfect way to kind of kick off this new format of the All-Star Game with the no divisions, in my opinion.
I agree. How was the crowd itself, Pat? Pretty engaged. I saw when Ryan was mic'd up, they were all interviewing him while he had the microphone on him. All the kids were down low enjoying that, but pretty lively crowd for the most part. You said so in brevity, but throughout the game, did they stay in it even though the scoreboard got a little lopsided?
Yeah, no, the fans were awesome. I mean, like, I was trying to go over there as much as I could and talk to all of them. But they were all great. Like, they were super fun to talk to. They knew a lot about the league. Shout out to the kid in the Evan Porter segment. He said I was going to win the home run derby. I don't know what confidence he had in that, but that was fun. But no, they were all super nice. Like, just MLW Nation's awesome. Super excited for Chicago to see some more fans there. And it was a great crowd. They were in it the whole time.
Yeah. I do miss the AL-NL rivalry. It's sad to see that go, but I'm definitely intrigued to see how these drafts play out in the future and if managers learn from Dan's alleged mistakes. I mean, on paper, didn't go his way. I would love to see Dan chuckle and explain what he was thinking when the score was 10-1 or whatever it got to. But overall, it was a cool game. 8 bombs is nuts. Jimmy with 3. If Ryan's would have actually gone out, I don't know. That one it was tough because I wasn't there to see it, right? So it's hard for me to envision how far it actually flew, but it's just hit so hard.
We're pretty far.
It was hit so hard. Like, it wasn't hit that high. I mean, it was high and fast. It was like perfect. I don't know.
You guys are baseball guys. So what is the park that, there might be a couple of these, but what is the park that people will actually be like kayaking in, that like bay outside of the park that people have hit home runs into? What park is that?
Covey Cove at Oracle Park.
Oracle Park, San Francisco.
Yeah.
The Giants.
Yes.
Giants?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So when he hit that home run, that was like I'm sure there's been a bunch of videos of people kayaking for like home runs in that area, but that was like the first thing I thought of. I was like, what a perfect edit that would have been, because Kyle wouldn't have had a shot of it like going outside of the stadium.
No,
I don't think.
Yeah.
But so if it was just like it launching outside of the stadium and then it just cut to like the kayakers like fighting for the wiffle ball, like I thought that would have been such a funny like meme to put in there. But yeah, if he would have hit that out, that would have been unbelievable. And it was like, it looked like it was like feet from going out. Like
No,
that,
it was
what the box that it hit.
Yeah.
It did not look like it needed much more. So that was an absolute nuke.
I don't know which way the roof was slanted up there, but it looked like it was only probably a foot from being on top of the roof. And then if it would have rolled off or stayed in, I don't know. But I definitely want to go to the university now and somehow get onto the baseball field and stand where home plate was and look at it just so I can get a better visual of how far that actually flew. Because, yeah, it was just, I mean, there wasn't that many. We had a whole home run derby there, and no one hit one up there. And then in the actual game, Ryan does it. That's the crazy part to me.
I was thinking about that. So that's got to be some physics in there, right? Because the ball being pitched faster can let you hit it farther.
I mean,
that's got to be the case, right?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. And during the derby, obviously, guys were swinging fast, so getting tired as the segment went on, and probably not squaring up every ball. But I mean, if you just catch one just right, Jack, and you hit it in the right spot, dead center, I don't know.
I'm like 90% sure that's a sports science thing.
Well,
where
it for sure is in baseball, but I don't know if in wiffle ball it has the same physical
physics
properties.
Are physics, though, isn't it? Physics are physics. It's like, it's just the force of the object getting redirected.
But
right?
I'm saying in theory, like we know a wooden bat is so hard that like, yes, the exit velocity is higher. There's more force involved when it's coming in faster because the force of the impact. But I don't know like if the plastic is hard enough to generate that same amount of counteractive force on a plastic ball. Plus the balls can dent, so there's a lot of factors involved, a lot of variables with the wiffle balls that have to contribute to the perfect bomb. But that was the perfect storm. And he told me afterwards, I think he called me and said he thinks that was the furthest one he's hit. And he's hit some at the Meadows that are so far. So the PB's sitting here laughing. I'm forgetting that this is off of Patrick. He's sitting here shaking his head.
I had a front row seat for it, Tom, and let me tell you, that thing was freaking nuke. And yeah, I told him before the derby, I was like, why don't I just pitch to you normally, man? I'll just throw stuff to you and you can just hit them.
He is amazing. But I think that'll be the clip on Instagram this week. I got a front row seat for it, and that thing flew a long way.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just go with Jack on this one. Yeah, it's all the physics and that stuff that
Pat, you're going so hard. He just closed his eyes and got lucky.
That was for you, Pat. He's getting it now. That was for Pat's sake. Yeah. That's the from a few episodes ago when we were doing our like bold takes, and I said the MVP was going to be someone not Ryan Cratch. It's just that's the next clip is me just saying that, and then someone clipping him almost hitting an outside the park home run, and then probably having a ridiculous tear in the second half of the season and making a deep run in the playoffs. So I'm sure that'll age well for me. I can already see it not aging well.
Pat, I wanted to pivot a little bit here, and I wanted to. This is news to me. This is probably breaking news for the podcast listeners. I don't know if any posts went out about this, but Jack. Pat was actually involved in the ESPN the Ocho Day this past weekend. I just learned this today.
Is that right?
I have no details about it. So why don't you enlighten me on what you did? Because I know Alec did something once. Jordan Robles did something once. What were you out there doing?
Yeah, so it was the NWA All-Star Day or All-Star Game on
Okay.
the Ocho, which I got invited to a couple months back, and it was in Orlando, so I actually got to drive to it. And then with a couple of cancellations too, I actually had my cousin Dominic on the team with me, so it was
Oh, nice.
it was super cool. I would so we went up there. It was Saturday. It was unreal, just like the production. You know, you see all the ESPN cameras, the massive cameras, and like this is literally just wiffle ball, and just seeing like, I mean, because we play wiffle ball, like it's a niche sport, and then just getting to see all the other like people in their niche sports, like they had paintball, they had pop darts, they had pillow fighting, like it was like the coolest thing.
Hello, fighting.
But yeah, it was a blast.
Now, was this a
What are
live?
pop darts?
Pop darts is like it's like a double edged like I don't even know. It's like
Suction
it
cup.
reminds me of like those things you stick it on the shower, like the shower wall, that like suctiony thing. But it's like
Okay.
double ended, and you try to like throw it onto a table.
Okay.
It's like yeah, I don't know. It's like it was weird because I didn't know what it was either, and then one of my buddies told me about it. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, I watched like the entire thing, so it was pretty fun to watch.
All right.
Yeah, they actually. They're not podcast listeners as far as I know, but the founders of that company, the two brothers that created it, founders and CEOs, they're MLW fans. I've had a few conversations with them actually, so I'm familiar with the pop darts game. Cool lawn game, similar to I think like cornhole, ladder golf. Can also play it inside, but there's a few different ways you can play it. So definitely check that out, fans, if you're looking for a new game. Pop darts, all you need. There's a couple different variations you can buy, but so you can play on a tabletop, you can play it on boards. I don't know which method they were playing on at the Ocho Pat, but cool little up and coming game.
It was like a table. It looked like
Tabletop. Okay, yeah, that was
Yeah,
like the
like
original
that,
version
yeah.
of the game. How pillow fighting, that intrigued me. How do you win at
Yeah.
competitive pillow fighting?
Yeah, so I was super intrigued because I actually used to box, and basically what it was is just like a whole like point system around it. So basically you have this pillow, but they have handlebars on it, but it's basically a pillow, and you have to stay like within 4 feet of each other, or you have to be 4 feet apart, and basically you have to swing as hard as you can. Like you can't just like touch them, and then you get like points based on where you hit them, or if you make them like trip, or if you do it like a 360 or like a flashy hit, you get extra points.
Wow.
It was super entertaining. It was like an hour and a half long. I watched the entire thing. Me and my friends were just like picking who we thought we were gonna win. Like it was honestly super entertaining, and like I would totally do it. Like if I had free time, I would totally do it because it looks so much fun.
Did you actually get a chance to play in the All-Star game, or were you just on the roster? Did you get any minutes?
Yeah, actually, I was the starting pitcher for I forget what our team name was, but
That's
yeah,
sweet.
it was yeah, like NWA is like I love that term. It's like clean ball, fast pitch style, which I love. So yeah, like getting to see my name, like because I watched it back with my family, like on the ESPN like score
graphics.
bugs and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah,
sick.
it's like wild. And then like seeing the other camera angles and like it was so cool. And I had like all my family like back home in Missouri was watching it, and even I got like texts and DMs from like people who I didn't even tell about the game, and they're like, "Dude, I'm watching you on TV right now." Like it was so cool. Honestly, like it was a lot of fun. We didn't win, but they had like a rule like if you walk someone, you have to like do a lob, and then they hit a homer. So, but it was like honestly just so much fun. It was a blast.
That's awesome. I got to. I actually had a coworker. I think maybe they saw some promotion about the fact that was going to be played on ESPN, and they were like, "Wiffle ball on ESPN," because they knew I'm in this league, and they're like, "I didn't know like they put it on ESPN," and I was like, "Yeah, it's been on there like before." And now I didn't even know you were playing in it, but now I can go back and be like, "Yeah, one of the team's starting pitcher plays in MLW," so that's awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was unreal.
How'd you pitch in that event?
I pitched pretty good. I mean, I wasn't one who allowed the homer, but
Well,
but like it wasn't.
it was
like,
different,
the fast
yeah.
pitch thing, but yeah, like it was pretty good. I will say it was like 100 degrees, and we were out there for 2 hours before, so like I literally was like, I'm gonna pass out here in a minute. It was so hot, but no, I pitched good. Besides that homer, did really well. The pitching and that fast pitch style is crazy. So
Crazy.
I batted twice. Put one in play and had to try to run it out and got out. So
did the broadcast comment on your injury at all or no?
No, but you can like totally tell that I'm hurt. Like, there was another play where I like tried to dive in front to like toss it back to the circle, and I just looked like a walrus like out of water. Like it was bad, but it was kind of funny like looking back at it. But yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that's
awesome.
super cool. I'm happy you got to experience that. Nice you're able to drive to it. And I'm going to have to watch it back. Is there a link where I can check it out?
Yeah, I think it's on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus. If you do the NWA All-Star game, I think it should be on there. So
okay, sweet.
We watched it again last night. It was really weird to also say like you can watch it on or Disney Plus or ESPN Plus. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Clips.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Pat, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. I know it wasn't your best outing. Sorry I dug into you on it a little bit, but gotta call a spade sometimes. Blame Daniel. You know who you blame when the sip shinks? You blame the captain. Captain Dan did not set his team up for success, and you were just a victim of that. So we commend you for your efforts. Thank you for joining us today, Pat, and good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thanks. Anytime, guys. Thanks, guys.
All right, Jack. Next order of business today, now that the All-Star game is behind us, is we got second half of the season to play. Not only that, we have a second half of the season to predict. The score of the hot dog challenge that's quickly approaching here, 9 dogs in 9 innings, is 24-23, my lead, heading into Slate 4, as tight as it could be. So, Jack, you do have a super pick in this slate.
Yep.
Keep that in mind. Slate 4 is, of course, already underway, but Jack and I, we did a good job this year. So far, we haven't slipped up once. We've always had our predictions in time to predict games prior to them occurring. So, with that, Jack, the slate we have here, coming up in Slate 4, we have the Preds taking on the Eagles. We have the Mallards taking on the Wildcats. We have the Magic taking on the Cobras in Maryland. Excuse me, almost said St. Louis.
Yep.
And then the D-backs taking on the Gators. Good slate of ball here. Kicking us off with Preds v. Eagles. Jack, I'll let you go first.
Okay, Preds v. Eagles. I mean, after this video, this pick seems really dumb. But I do have the Eagles going 2-1 against the Predators. And this is also my super pick. Why it's my super pick? I just think that the Eagles kind of proved in the World Series last year that they're a much more complete team, in my opinion, than the Predators. I think that Dallas has yet to really put his best series together this year, and he's just due for a Dallas Allen Elite series. And so I think that it'll be very competitive, very close, but I do think the Eagles are going to edge out the Predators 2-1.
I like that justification. I was wondering what you had chosen that to be your super pick when I saw it on our spreadsheet. Makes a lot of sense. I also am going 2-1 Eagles. I think the Eagles are playing really good wiffle ball right now. I know it's post-ASG. Teams have had a little bit of a break here, but I thought they closed off the first half hotter than anybody. So I'm going with the Eagles. I do think that the Preds have a slight advantage with their number 2 arm in Porter, but I think Dallas has pitched really good. I like the Eagles' offense a lot. I think the Eagles' offense probably is still good enough to beat Porter, and then they split against Cratch. So I'm going 2-1 Eagles as well.
The only thing I would add was that I think at the time I did this, I was also thinking just mind games, and I think I picked the Eagles super pick thinking that you were going to pick the Predators.
You told me that.
And so,
you did tell me that.
So I was kind of like doubling down on the pick, being like, this is just going to be one to kind of swing and turn the tides, and then you ended up picking the Eagles anyway.
Mm-hmm. But well, Jack, I outsmarted you again. Didn't work out the way you thought it would. I'm also going with the Eagles. So we do have a tiebreaker here, which will have super pick implications, but we're doing walks this time, Jack. That is the metric we decided on. We don't even have a line yet from Stats Sean. We got to buzz him on this one, let him know what we're doing so he can get us the averages. But I'm taking the over in this series. I think mostly I'm doing that because of the Eagles bullpen. Porter's also been a little shaky. So I don't think we'll see a lot of walks from Cratch and Dallas, but I think in that game 2, whatever game the non-aces go, we'll see a lot of walks. So I'm going to take the over compared to the average series.
I think that's probably smart. So just to rehash here, super pick and you get the tiebreaker. I think I beat you by a point, right? That's 4-3.
If we're both correct and I get the tiebreaker, yes, 4-3.
Got it. Okay, got
it. Okay.
All right, man. That's a big series. That's a big one. I really need the Eagles to win that.
Big one,
and for not a lot of walks to happen.
Yep. Mallards Cats. You're only down by a point, Jack. It's okay.
I know, but it's just like, oh man.
Mallards Cats. I'm going 2-1 Mallards here. We haven't lost a series yet. Wildcats are not playing their best ball. I was almost tempted to go 3-0 here, but I have not picked a sweep yet up until this point. I don't think. I might have picked one that I was not correct on, but I'm going 2-1 Mallards here. I think we'll get it done. And what do you got, Jack?
I also have 2-1 Mallards. I think they're just too good right now with Robles playing the way that he's playing. And it's just tough to bet against him. So I think a really competitive series, potentially some walk-offs maybe. I feel like that this series is giving me that vibes, but I went 2-1 Mallards as well. And then I have I will take the under on the walks in the tiebreaker here with this one.
Yeah,
because Jordan does not walk very many people.
Okay. That's fair justification. You know what I just thought about, Jack? I had a thought there while you were making your pick.
What's your thought?
My thought. Here's my thought. Here's my toast. My thought is that last year in Slate 5, do you remember how we did double plays as the tiebreaker, which was kind of lopsided but also electric?
Yes.
I feel like doing walk-offs could be exciting in Slate 5. I don't know what percentage of series have walk-offs. If it's too lopsided, that won't work, but that could be a fun way to end it.
I mean, there's no way that it's more lopsided than double plays.
Double plays wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It was like, I think it was close to 40% of series had walk-offs. Or had double plays, excuse me.
What? Really?
I think so. That's what I remember Sean saying. We asked him.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. That seems high. We'll just have to go to the numbies guy. We got to go to the numbies guy.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. That's what I remember. All right, Magic Cobras, Maryland. What do you got?
Yep. Well, I would say again, you guys who have been listening, I did let you know that unfortunately I will not be in attendance I was not in attendance for this series. But I went obviously with the boys 2-1 Magic. I think the only reason they get one is because the skipper himself is not there for the Magic. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Metro Magic. What do you got, Tom?
Well, the Cobras burned me once, so you'd think that I wouldn't go with the Cobras again in an underdog pick, but I did. 2-1 Cobras, pretty much exclusively because of the roster knowledge of who's going to be in attendance for the Magic. I think this opens the door for the Cobras a lot. And these out-of-state events, it seems like the Cobras always bring the energy. You know, Drew really feeds off the crowds, and I think he has a history of, he also got wild against you guys in St. Louis, right? So I'm not saying he's going to be good the whole time, but I know he'll bring the energy. Caden's been throwing the ball well. I think they just find a way. I don't know. I said this last time and it bit me right in the butt, but this time I hope that I'm correct. And fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So if this is wrong, then it's my fault. I will take the blame, but I'm taking the Cobras. Not sure why, but that is my pick.
I'm excited to watch this video. I got to be honest. This was probably the series I was most excited for going into the season, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. So I'm really excited to see this video come out.
Yeah, it's always a bummer when that happens, but best of luck to your squad nonetheless, Jack.
Appreciate it, brother.
Okay, rounding off Slate 4. The Diamondbacks taking on the Gators. This one I went back and forth on a lot. I think I had mentioned when I was making all of my hot takes when Slate 3 wrapped up how I wasn't fully sold on the Gators yet. I think my pick here reflects that. I have 2-1 D-backs. I think this is when D-backs and the D-backs, Jimmy Norp, sort of start to turn it on here late in the season. And this will be a big test for the Gators as they're sort of still in the hunt for a top seed here moving into the postseason. So I'm going 2-1 D-backs.
Yeah, obviously, after the Himmy Norp performance in that All-Star game, that looks like a good pick for you.
I didn't know that when I made this pick.
And you did not, and neither did I. Going 2-1 Gators, but I think the last thing that I need with this pick is for Jimmy to get hot at the plate. So hopefully the Gators can shut them down. I thought Jeremy looked good in the one inning that he pitched in the All-Star game. I think Jeremy honestly has a chance to become the ace on that team, depending on the ball situation in any given series, because Sawyer's arsenal is very dependent on the ball. And Jeremy, I think, can kind of be a little bit more, he can adapt a little bit more. So I have 2-1 Gators. I think that this probably, when I picked this, I was also keeping in mind that you weren't convinced on the Gators and would probably go Diamondbacks. So I was looking to make some moves. Pick. Yep, I think this was a little bit of a mental pick, if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm still good with it.
I don't know, Jack. I feel like, you're only down by 1 point.
I'm good with it?
You're only down by 1 point, Jack. You're only down by 1 point.
I'm down by 1 point, Tom, but it's like you got to make enough moves to get a little bit of a gap, because I don't want to be in Slate 5 here having like a walk-off determine whether or not I'm shoveling 9 hot dogs in my face. So I'm trying to make some moves here. Like, it's either like I win these moves, and I start to pull away, or I don't, and then it becomes obvious and I can start to mentally prepare. I am actually going to I got invited to go to a Tigers game tomorrow night, first one of the year.
Oh, cool.
So I probably will have to get a ballpark Frank there just to, for the vibes and see what it's like. So, I'll give you an update there on what I think I can realistically do if I do in fact end up losing this challenge.
Yeah, I have my concerns because in my head I feel like I eat a lot of food, but I was proven very wrong last year. I think nutritionally these are a little bit better than the waffles, but the fact that Jimmy Norp is telling me this is going to be easy is a joke to me. I think it's going to be very difficult. I had a hot dog a few days ago, Jack, a ballpark Frank actually, and it was great. I enjoyed it, but I'm thinking I could maybe get down comfortably like where I'm not forcing myself to eat more, like 3 more of those things. So that's only putting me at 4. Doing 9
like almost
over
half.
the span of like 2.5 hours ish. Sounds awful. And I just disagree with Jimmy wholeheartedly. And last year I was excited for it. And I was saying how I wanted to try it and I wouldn't be that mad if I lost. This year, the dumb part of my brain is saying, yeah, it still would be funny to try. But the smart part of my brain that experienced the Waffle House challenge last year and waffle number 5 is telling me that I would much rather have to watch you suffer through it. So
it's literally like your smarter self on your right shoulder and just waffle number 5 on your left shoulder.
Correct. It's precisely. I actually have a very funny story, Jack. I have a very funny story that sounds like a joke, but it's totally serious. It's a great way to end this podcast for those who stuck around for the whole thing.
Perfect.
So, Jack, have you ever done, I bet you have you ever done an ice bath or like a cold plunge? A true cold plunge?
For sure.
Okay. What are your thoughts on it?
Yep. I like it. A lot of people, it takes them a lot to get used to. I think if you just get over the first kind of minute like minute 30 seconds, it's actually one of the best things you can do for like recovery. In my opinion, it helped me out a lot in terms of my recovery.
Okay, so you were doing this frequently at one point in your life?
In college, yeah, playing lacrosse, I was doing ice baths very regularly. Yeah.
Okay.
Like multiple times a week.
Okay, that's good. Now, I had never done one. I know there's been a whole like cold plunge craze over the last couple of years where it's made its way into social media and people think it's the next greatest thing, which I think there's a lot of health benefits to it, some would say. But anyways, I was up north this past weekend, and one of my sister's friends is big into cold plunging, so she has an ice bath that you can inflate, and then you fill it with ice water, and then you take the plunge. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it. I'll try it. And to be honest, when I thought getting in would be the hard part, and I thought, like I had heard people like you say, where if you can just like get in and get over it, it's not that bad. It feels pretty good, actually. That part never came for me. I actually didn't have a lot of trouble getting into the water. Like I was just like, yeah, I'm going to commit to this. So I one leg in, went down to my neck, you know? And at first I was like, yeah, this feels cold. But like my breathing felt okay. But as time passed, like I think I probably got out around a minute and a half. I didn't have a timer going, but I know I didn't get to 3 minutes. It just truthfully, it hurt. My hands and wrists were just like, I was trying to pump blood because it felt like the world was closing in on my extremities here, and I didn't love it. And I was like, I was talking to people around me. I'm like, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be like. I thought it'd be like you get in and you're freezing, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, it was getting more and more painful as the minute and a half went on. And we were talking about it afterwards, and this made my roommates laugh, but we were debriefing after we all had tried it, and I was like, it's hard to explain, but could I have stayed in there longer? Yeah, I could have, but like my brain was just telling me like, get out of the water. Like, this is so uncomfortable. Like, get out. And I was like, it was a new experience for me. Like, it was a weird sensation. And I was like, you know what it reminded me of? I was like, there's been 2 times in the past year when my brain has told me and my body has reacted like, stop doing what you're doing. And it was the cold plunge and it was eating the waffles. That was the 2 times when I experienced like a new internal feeling and like a reaction to my body. With the waffles, it was like my saliva wasn't breaking down food anymore. Like my body was just telling me, do not swallow more food. And when I was in the cold plunge, while I was okay physically, I wasn't freaking out or anything. My brain was just like, get out of this. Like, you're uncomfortable. Get out of the water. So I don't know. It was really weird, but that was the first thing I thought of when I was debriefing on the experience of the cold plunge was the waffles, because it was a similar mental thing in a weird way.
That is hilarious, dude. So by the transitive property, eating as many waffles as you can has the same health benefits as taking a 2-minute cold plunge.
I'd say has the same,
because it's training your brain,
the same mental strength reaction. My roommate, he followed up my statement with saying, what would happen if you did the Waffle House challenge while in a cold plunge? And then my other roommate promptly answered with, well, you'd die. You just die.
You just wouldn't.
You just wouldn't. But yeah, that was my story from the week. Is I related cold plunge to the Waffle House challenge with the mental struggle of it and how you're trying to tell your body to do something that it just doesn't want to do.
That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. So with that, folks, I will leave you with that story, and hopefully it put a smile on your face. This week we have the Maryland series actually uploading, Jack. It is Cobras versus Magic.
Oh, perfect. Let's go.
It's the Slate 4 upload. I heard it was a good one. So definitely check that out on the channel. Check out PB's highlights in the Ocho, apparently. That's going to be something I'm going to do, so you fans might want to join me in that endeavor. And we will see you next week. Jack, we got to talk offline, too, because next week I'm going to be out of town for work. So it'll either be maybe just Jack, or it'll be a weekend recording with myself and Jack, or just me and a guest. I don't know. Stay tuned. The next week's episode could be a little bit of some packed action of a combination of guests, new hosts. We'll see.
Nothing new, baby. Just always packed action.
Nothing new. Just packed action coming at you week after week. So thank you all for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up.